start. It's Wicked here, and today we're going to start getting advanced with some stuff. So we're going to do a little creature design today. All you're going to need is a pencil, eraser. But what we're going to do is we're going to take two animals and we are going to combine them to turn them into a new creature. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is find 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 animals. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to use two. I'm going to use this bat and this monkey here, and we're going to create ourselves a new creature. So the thing is, when you're doing this, you don't want to just like take the bat's head and stick it on the monkey's body, or vice versa. Take the monkey head, stick it on the body. We want to actually just pull the features of these two things and create what we got. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the body of the monkey and incorporate some things of the head in there, and just kind of, make it more appealing that way. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start with just kind of sketching it out. So I'm just gonna sketch out the shape of the head of the monkey here. Just gonna build on that. Okay, so I'm gonna just have that shape in there, and I'm gonna start adding some things. So like I want to take the features of like the bat's ears and probably the nose. So I'm gonna start down here and start working on building up the eyes. Just gonna start over here on this side. My one eye there. I'm going to put this little bump in here for the forehead piece, and then I can move over here. And build up the eye there. Probably want to make this one a little bit bigger. Okay. And then I really want to use that nose from the bat. And sketch that in. So use that shape. Maybe extend it up a little bit higher. Exaggerate it a little bit. Okay, and we have this little kind of a nostril flare here. Okay, so I have my nose and my eyes set up. Probably going to come in here and go ahead and do let's do the ears. So I'm going to move back a little from the eye here. I'm going to take the bat's ears here. Okay, so I have that built in. Be able to see just a little bit of the other side. Now if we wanted to, I don't have to keep it too real, so like I'm really going to exaggerate these ears. And work with that. So I'm going to erase that little piece out. Bring that back in. And then we can extend that ear out. Since it's facing away, sorry, keep erasing. It's got all these thoughts running through my head. So let's bring it out this way, like it is in the image. And make it kind of point out a little bit. Okay. Now, next thing I want to do is just kind of define these eyes a little bit. So we're just going to make it black. I'm going to leave that little circle in there just for a little glare effect. But I'm just going to fill in that eye. And just do the same thing with the other eye. Okay, and then I'm going to come back and start taking them those features of the monkey again. So like with the face, we can start drawing that in. Bring the face out this way some. Okay, and then I want to pull that head back, so this is where about our neck is going to start. So I'm going to pull that back. Now I want to kind of add some stuff that's probably not part. Just to make it a little bit different, so I'm going to give him like a large cheek pouch here. Okay, and then with this head, I'm going to adjust this. I'm going to turn it in some and come back, and then I'm just going to clean up around a little bit just so we can see our image a little bit more clearly. Okay. So I'm going to round that little section off and then just sketch out that shape of the monkey. So actually I want to kind of put it like a slight curve here and start pulling it back a little bit. Go down with it. Okay, so I don't need that line anymore. And then let's start his neck back a little bit. Let's come back here towards the cheek and do it that way. Okay, so up here by the head, we're going to have that kind of shoulder shape starting. So I'm just pulling that back, and down here towards the neck we have that. Okay, and then I have my little forearm shape right in here, and then I can come back off this section here. We can put like a slight bump for that elbow. Bring that around and have that other forearm come down that way. Okay. Now in here, right by the neck, we can see we have a small portion where like the chest would be, and the rest would be that kind of stomach area right in there. Okay, so now I'm going to come down here. I'm going to move my forearm down just a little bit, and we want to draw these hands out. Now I'm not going to keep everything the same. I might give him some longer claws. and adjust the shapes of the finger a little bit, just so it's different. I don't want it to be exactly the same. So maybe our little monkey bat here's got longer fingers. We do want to make sure that he keeps that impulsible thumb shape. So I'm actually going to put some claws in there. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and take from this spot where his thumb would wrap around the branch. I'm going to bring that down some. Start building that into there. So I can erase that corner out so it looks like it's wrapping around the tree branch. Okay, and then this other side is going to come off his elbow right there. Okay, then I can just bring the back down the rest of the way. Okay, and then now we have the arm on the side here, so I can curve that down and round it out. Alright, now I want that image of him eating the fruit, so after I build up the arm a little bit, I'm going to open his mouth. So I'm going to come back this way and open that up and just put two visible teeth in there. Okay. And then for his hand, we can see it's just kind of turned sideways a little bit. I'm going to try to keep that same kind of long finger shape. And curve that thumb around. And then for the fruit, I don't have to make it the exact same size. I'm going to just kind of make a shape in here to make it look like he's eating something. Okay. And now obviously we have the way he's squatting. We have his leg kind of turned up. So I'm going to round that out and then just come down underneath and go that way with it. Okay, and as I come down, we have our feet. So same thing, it kind of has that, because they have those feet that kind of act like hands a little bit, so you got this kind of toe thumb wrapping around the tree. Just see a little bit of it over here. And we can just extend our branch down that way. Okay. And I'm going to take the tree up over this way just to kind of add a little something to it. We'll extend it all the way out to the edge. Then we can take the rest of the tree and go up out of view over here. Okay, then I can run underneath it. So I can go underneath it here and just draw that branch off to the side, kind of run down underneath it over here. Okay, now here's where I want to start adding my own thing to just kind of make it stick out more. So like things with the face and the ears and the chest. So like I'm going to come in here and add some fur off the chest over here. Okay. And then we can add just a little bit of kind of like a squiggly shape just to give that illusion of fur down in there. All I did was just clean up that edge so I can leave that little bit of a movement there. Okay, now the first thing I'm going to do is I want this to kind of resemble the fact that it can take flight. So we're going to build off the forearm here. And make this kind of a wing shape. And just have that curve underneath the arm. So just get rid of those old lines. And then what we can do is we can add a little bit of fur, kind of blending down into the wing. Okay, so this is a complete, like, the wings just folded inward kind of shape. And we can do the same thing over here. Alright, and now we want that kind of again, just doing things to make it stand out a little bit. So I'm going to add, a little bit of claws in there on the finger. And then I'm going to do something drastic. I'm going to make the ears bigger. And this is all part of the design process. You see something that you want to do or change, you just got to go in there and change it. If you like his ears being smaller, by all means, you can do that. Okay, now for mine, I am going to come behind the head a little bit just to give it a little 3D flair to it. And then I'm going to come right off the tips here. And I just want to draw these long little strands of hair. Some of the stuff I'm building on here is more for like functionality. So like these things help his hearing be sensitive, help him keep his balance in flight. You just kind of have to have a story to go along with that. So I would do the same thing for the other ear over here. Except we can see the back side of it, so what we can do is take a small piece and fold it towards the front that way. Okay, now I want that same kind of thing for his arm back here, so we want a little bend from the fold coming here and just kind of disappearing that way. And we can add that kind of fur shape that comes off that way. Okay, so just like little details of things that you want to add into the image. Okay, and so the next thing I want to think about, if there's any other details that I want to put in there. Right, a little turn of the hand here. And then for the tail, I'm going to have that wrapped down from here, so it's going to go behind the tree branch. Okay, so it's going to kind of curl down. And then it's just going to curve back towards the body. Okay, now I do want to take a little bit of separation here, so I do want my leg to get a little bit more shape in there, just so it looks like he's sitting. Okay, I could do some other things, like I could come out here on the cheeks, and I can add in some fur that way. So again, I can just go in here and just clean up the old line, and then come back and just refine it out. Okay, so anything else left in there is honestly just like I said, just adding things, like maybe we could add that same detail that we had on the ears. And just have some little things coming off there. So the rest of it's just kind of making it stand out more. And come in here and start shading things. So I can start back here. A little bit of a darker color. Have our light source coming from this way up in here. So I can darken this back area here. And have it stretch under that tree branch. I'm going to lightly pick up my pencil. So I'm not pressing down hard, but I'm going to come in here and shade in that back half. Coming up about halfway through it. Now since our little our bat monkey here, it doesn't have any white in it, so I don't want to leave that whole area white. So what I'm going to do is go super light. I'm going to like barely touch the paper. Barely touch it. And just fill in the rest of it. Okay. So I can do the same thing with the little fur pieces we have coming off the bottom here. Again, it's more of a concept piece. It doesn't have to be like super duper detailed. Just adding in the shadows just to give it a little bit more life to it. And then I can start working my way out lighter. Okay, so really what you're doing is you're just taking that foundation of the 2, 3, 4 animals, whatever you chose to do, and building that up. I'm going to go back over some of this and just kind of lightly pick up from dark to light, just so it can blend in a little bit more smoothly. Okay. And then I'm going to come up here and start doing that same thing on my foot here. Or not my foot, but my hand. So with that kind of dark shadow back there on the edge. Just like that. I'm going to do the same thing with the other fingers and claws. And just start setting those up. So we got one more over here. And then I'm going to do the same thing I did with the tail. I'm going to build it out and get lighter as I go. Maybe darken up this area a little bit in the middle. Same thing, just build myself out. This finger here. Okay, now I want to darken this part down here by the thumb that's coming down around. Okay, so it's not black, but we're just going to darken it just so it has some separation. I'm going to lightly fill in this area right here. I'm going to follow that curved pattern that I had with that fur, like that, and then just fill that in. Just a little bit of pressure, not a lot. Really trying to work on blending it on that edge that we have that's dark back here in the back. Again, letting it loose as we work our way out towards the front. Right, so now I can lightly, and I do mean lightly, build my way out here, just getting super light as I go. Sure that I smooth that in so that it's a somewhat even transition going towards that front. Okay, I want to turn so that I can build this out on the edge of the arm because I really want to show that separation from the back. Kind of thicken that area up and darken it a little bit, and do that same thing where we're going to do a slow build up. Okay, so again I'm starting dark here on the edge and just working my way out, trying to blend that in and make it a smooth transition. Okay, so I think this is a good practice to work on lightly picking up your pencil as you go out. Now we're going to come back in and add some highlights later, but what I want to do to make this stand out, since the fold is going back over here, I'm going to start dark back over here. Okay, again, not black, but just like a dark gray, and build myself out lighter. On the edge here, but I can thicken up the edge of the fold, because that shadow would do that. Underneath, can also thicken up the edge of that tree branch too to show that separation. And then like the areas here with the fur, could darken that up, just bring that out some more. Okay. And then just continue up the wing here. Darken that outer edge. Just to make it show up some more. Okay. Same thing here. We'll just start dark on that edge there. Work our way in, going lighter as we get to that line. I can continue up. Again, get lighter as I come out. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this outer edge. I'm going to darken it up a little bit. Put a little bit more pressure to even the transition as I come out. Okay, and then just continue forward with it. Really trying to focus on blending that in. And again, trying to keep our transition smooth. Okay. So I'm going to kind of darken this area here just so we have some kind of shadow fall on it. Bring that out. I'm going to have my ears back here, so we can kind of do a little back shadow here coming off the ear, go a little lighter towards the front. Okay, so I can meet up here. Lighten that out. For the neck here, I really want to define that just so that we have that and we don't lose it when we start shading it down. So I can do that same transition but kind of going up towards the fur on the face. And we can use that back shoulder to kind of darken up, not blacken it, but just kind of darken it up a little bit so it stands out, and continue to build ourselves forward from there. So like this region here, since we're kind of turned away on the head a little bit, I can kind of go over that a little bit and just darken it a little bit more slightly as we're doing that. Now since we're going to come off this arm here, like I said, I want that kind of shadow cast from the arm to be there, but I also need the same thing with the fur, so I'm going to have to darken that as we get down there. I can kind of go back over my little fur shapes on the belly here. Okay, and then it's the same thing. I'm just going to try to make a smooth transition from dark to light. And what we're doing is we're just essentially just finalizing our image, just so that it looks a little nicer, you know, kind of a little bit more shape to it. Since we're in the back region here, we're going to darken that for the legs. And I'm going to use that dark gray for a good portion coming off here. To really emphasize that it's behind that fur patch coming off the chest. Okay, and then same thing here, I can go ahead and blend that in off the leg. So I'm going to darken that tree branch there and use that dark gray again to kind of go back. Alright, and then I can work on my smooth transition. So not a lot of space going forward, so it's not going to get too light, but just really work on blending that in. So since this arm passes in front, you got to kind of redarken this area from the wing. And then we can kind of fill in the rest. Leave that middle area lighter than the parts closest to the edge. And again, just working on just blending that in. Okay. So we want to work our way out the edge of the leg here. I did forget to put some claws in here. So now I can take my feet and do the same thing we did before. We'll kind of darken that edge out on all of them. Essentially just thickening it up a little bit. Okay, and then I can work in that transition again. And work my way out with each finger. Notice I'm keeping it light on the knuckles up there just so I can have that separation in here. Okay. And you can do whatever you want. If you wanted to make it lighter, you could. You don't have to go as dark as I'm going. That's completely up to you. And I do want to make sure with this wing that since it's a black wing, I don't want to color it black per se, but I do want to keep the colors darker. Okay, so I can really kind of darken up the edges all the way around. Same thing with that fur. I can thicken up this back end fur right here, and that way when I go in for that fur on it, on the wing, I can keep that transition smoother, but it's not exactly black, so it'll be dark enough to show that separation, but not black to where can't see anything. It's just a big old black smudge on the paper. So I can make that a little bit darker. Okay. And now we've made our way up to the face. So I can do that kind of a dark gray and work my way out lighter. Except for right in here where we have the arm fold. That to be a little darker there. And that dark gray will come up just a little bit on that side. And then we'll do the same here and work our way out lighter. As we go. For our fingers, I'm going to work the same as we did with the feet and the hand over there. Just going to kind of darken that edge up. Just work our way out from there so we can kind of come up light so it doesn't take as much effort, because we gotta make sure we can still tell their fingers. And for our fruit here, I'm just gonna do a light hatching. So that it looks different. Okay, I'm going to come in here, darken up that fur edge over here. Now, obviously you could do this with color if you really wanted to stand out more, but we're just doing pencil work today. Okay, I'm kind of darken up this part of the mouth. Inside, darken up around the teeth. Okay, so I'm going to do that kind of a dark gray coming off the edge. It's not black, just a dark gray. And obviously we'll work our way out lighter as we go. Kind of turn your pencil if you want to help kind of keep the shape of things. Sometimes I find that helps with the blending a little bit. So I'm going to get light as I work my way towards the face. Right here, not pressing down as hard. Maybe go back a little bit darker, just around the eyes. To show that separation. So make that part a little bit darker in there. I'll do the same thing around the ear. Come up here and darken that area. Kind of put a curve to it. Okay, and then just slowly build my way out. Working on that smooth transition. Okay. Now for the nose, I want that to stand back out. So we're going to darken the little nostril holes right here. transition from the edges there. Okay, so we're not going to start with that dark gray. Okay, same thing here. Let's go light on the face. Just going to transition out here. Leave this region a little bit darker because there's a change in shape. Then I can go light again, working my way towards the front, like that. Okay, the inside of the ear, kind of go light with that too. Towards the front, and now around the ear here, since it's a fold, I'm going to darken that, come around that edge, do the same, and I'm just going to lightly hatch, working my way out, leaving the center area a little bit lighter, maybe darkening up the edges a little bit more. Okay, I got my little hair pieces here, so not a lot has to go into that. Alright, and then I can come up here to this ear. Kind of darken that area down and do just like we did with the other ones. Just a light transition. And it's a little darker here since that's our fold. Okay. Now our chest area, I want that to be like a little patch, so I'm not going to do that as dark. Okay, so I'm going to do like I did with the nose. I'm just going to kind of lightly blend that. Edges, but the rest of it I'm just going to push it out lightly. Okay, and you could do little things like you could darken up these tree branches here. Just so it stands out just a little bit. We're not going to go crazy like putting, tree bark definition. So I'm just going to come in here and I'm just going to hatch tree branch. And then cross hatch that. Kind of darken this darker area down here. Got my line. So we'll start dark there. Go light. Side here. So I'm essentially just building out at least a shape with it. I'm not going for, like I said, full detail. Just working my way out dark to light towards the front. And just hatch that in. Getting lighter towards the edge over here. A bit darker on the back end. If you wanted to, you could add a couple lines to just kind of give it a barky look. Just for that little bit more detail in there. I can do the same thing with this bottom branch now. darken that out. Then hatch across that bottom. So I'm trying to turn my hand in a way that you can still see while I'm doing this. Yeah, we're going to start darker down here. Kind of a dark gray color. Now I'm not going to bring it all the way down towards the hand because I don't want to lose that. I want to work my way out light. So our focus is on the creature, so we just want to kind of leave this a little bit more on the sketchy side. So we're going to have a bit more of an exaggerated highlight on that tree. Again, just hitting up that bottom area first. Darker side. And then work my way out lighter. So go up. And get as close to that hand as possible without touching it. Same thing, if you wanted to. You don't have to. If you wanted to, you can add in some kind of bark shapes here. Again, just to give a little bit more texture. To the tree. Side just a little bit more, separate that tail out. Again, just kind of adds a little bit to the scene, doesn't have to be anything perfect or beautiful. Okay, now what we want to do is come in and give some highlight. Okay, so I'm going to use my eraser. This is why I like the big erasers. They kind of have that kind of sharp edge point. So I'm going to come in here. I want to press down and really hit up close to the edges of the light areas. It's just a subtle detail. It's not anything too crazy. Just something to make it stand out just a little bit more. Maybe put a little bit inside the ear. There. Erase out more on the head so you can see it more. Okay, now I want to hit up that wing edge. Okay, and I could bring it back just a little bit. So I just want like right close to the edge. Okay, so nothing too crazy, just lightening it up a little bit. Right, you can do it on the fingers. Just little spots here and there. You don't have to go up the entire edge. Okay. So what I want you to do for homework is I want you to pick a few animals. I want you to try to create your own creature and really bring that out. Okay. And really focus on combining the creatures together. Don't just, like I said, copy and paste the head on there. Don't just stick things on there to be on there. Try to create a new creature of some kind. So where it still kind of looks like a monkey, I've got the bat implemented in there. You can put as much little detail in there as you want. Please feel free to share this with me on my Twitter at WickedArt5. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something from this. And until then, keep sketching, and I'll see you in the next video.